Hey guys, so today we're talking about what is geology and what is its role in society today as well as in the past. So to start off with, I figured we'd do some definitions. I looked at both Merriam-Webster and Oxford dictionaries, and they both have two definitions, the same two definitions. The first one is that geology is a science that deals with the history of the earth and its life, especially as recorded in rocks. So that's what I typically think of, and I think most people typically think of when they think of geology, kind of digging down into the earth and finding out based on what's there what used to be here, and how the environment of the earth used to be. The second definition is that geology is a study of the solid matter of a celestial body. So a celestial body is anything that's outside of the Earth's atmosphere of significant mass, such as the moon, a star, an asteroid. So it's interesting that geology can be applied to things outside of the Earth, which kind of brings me to my first point, is that geology has a huge influence on nearly every other science. Astronomy, for instance. By examining and looking at what composes Earth, we can better study other planets and make inferences about what's on it. Things that make Earth inhabitable for us, such as the atmosphere, we think is caused by the presence of metals at the center of the Earth that creates a magnetic field and holds our atmosphere here. Um, One day, maybe we'll look and find something like that on another planet, and we'll be able to tell based on what it's composed of. So that's kind of an outward perspective of geology. Kind of turning back towards Earth, geology has a huge influence on kind of the things like we read about tectonic plates, kind of the things you see on Earth's surface, and this in turn has a huge influence on society. Um, Geology is responsible for the formation of mountains and of different physical features on Earth's surface. Uh, these things are often responsible for the formation of different cultures. Um, a mountain divides two groups of people, they grow up completely differently, and develop over time completely differently, and that kind of brings diversity to the world. Um, Something that's recently been in the news, geology, excuse me, um, has an influence on natural disasters, things like the earthquakes in Mexico. Studying geology can help kind of maybe predict these things and maybe plan for increased infrastructure in places that are at risk. So that's kind of the first step in geology's influence on society. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is geology's influence on economics. Um, so, in reading an article by Robert Frodman, he postulates that the role of a geologist in the last 50 years has shifted dramatically. Whereas before, in a kind of an industrial era where um, more things means more prosperous society, just keep finding resources and we'll keep making things. And that's all we need you to do is, as he puts it, feed the great industrial machine um, that's driving the production of these things. So a geologist was just tasked with finding resources. Now, in modern times, with kind of this increasing concern for depletion of natural resources and non-renewable resources, um, geology kind of assumes a bit of an ethical um, quality to it. So, for instance, um, according to an article in Mining and Mineral Business, um, in 2013, global gold mines produced 2,804 metric tons of gold. Um, that's a lot, but it's people have begun to study. When are we going to run out of things like this? Oil, for instance, in 2014, 77,500 barrels of oil were drilled for and produced all over the world. So geologists have a responsibility now to kind of think about what they're doing as far as depleting resources. And I think that this increase in ethical guidelines will definitely have an influence on the future of